That's a legend right there, boy.
No doubt about it.
Right.
That, every time we talk to somebody, Lil Tommy name come up.
That's right.
Go ahead, man.
Leader of the pack.
I hear you.
Who's the #1 drummer in Richmond? Lil Tommy.
Yeah, there you go. We can look. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Welcome to Let's Talk Music Richmond. I'm going to introduce my co-host, Charles Mann, and then he's going to introduce our guest for tonight. And our guest for tonight is legendary in the Richmond area. Legend. I'm talking about, we got a legend on here tonight, y'all. Charles Mann, introduce this guy.
This gentleman, I met this gentleman so many years ago, but I first saw him on stage playing drums. But I didn't know he could sing at the time. And then after I heard him sing, I didn't know he was a showman. And then he started showing. I said, wait a minute, he does everything. We know him as Lil Tommy, Tyrone Thomas, Lil Tommy from Richmond, Virginia, hit record maker. And of course, he's performed in many groups, but the legend himself, Mr. Tyrone Thomas. Welcome. Good to see you, my brother. I hope you're in good health, and it's a pleasure to have you on with us today.
Doing all right. Thank you, Charles.
And it's a blessing to be here, right? I'm sure, just because there's so many folk that didn't make it, Tom.
Man, a lot of our brothers gone.
I'll tell you when the last time I saw you, Lil Tommy, was at Major Harris's funeral.
Yeah.
You was decked out too. You was sharp as a tack.
Always sharp. Always sharp. Tommy, the last time I saw you, you were singing lead with the Jamels for their 50th anniversary. That was
out of Holland Springs.
Yeah, Holland Springs, right.
Yeah.
Right. And I mean, you were sharp as a tack on that as well. Always known for being dapper, the dapper dresser.
Tommy, let me ask you a question. We're gonna get this started right. Where did you start first playing music?
In Richmond. I used to live in Jackson Ward, where I met Bobby Pondexter, keyboard player.
Yes.
God rest his soul. Major Harris, Johnny Jones. Then we got the group The Teenagers.
Okay, so what school did you go to?
Benjamin Graves.
Jackson Ward.
Who was your band director?
My band director? I was the band director.
Uh-oh.
Now, let me tell you how our first band I ever performed with was G.C. Coleman and the Soul Twisters.
Okay.
Remember that?
So who else was in that band with you, Tommy?
Gregory Coleman, Carlton Hills. He just passed recently. God rest his soul. William Sauls, Alvin Brown.
And so about what year was that? The early 70s, late 60s?
61, 62.
Somewhere around there. I guess I must have been 11 or 12. It's what person I left out, Albert Mosby. Yeah.
So you're about 35 now, right? 35, 36, somewhere in that area?
Are you serious? Yeah, well, I'm 73.
He started so young. He started performing very young.
If somebody was guessing, Tommy, they would have thought you were older than that because the guys that you hung with, like Carlton Hills, was definitely older than 73.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Alvin Brown is definitely older than 73.
Yeah, Alvin is.
So you're playing with guys 3 and 4 years older than you.
No doubt about it.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, it was G.C. Coleman that I love so much, and he was one of the greatest drummers I've ever heard in my life that inspired me to want to even touch a drum. He let me learn on his set.
What were you doing when you played with G.C. Coleman and the group? What were you playing?
I wasn't playing. I was just, we had Lil Tommy and the Teenagers.
Okay.
They back us up on most of our jobs.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Who else were the Teenagers?
Johnny Jones, Lawrence Kerr, And
Was Major then? And Major Harris?
He said Major Harris, right?
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Now, let me ask you a question. What part of town was Major from?
Jackson Ward, right around the corner from where I lived.
Okay, okay.
He lived on Hickory Street, and I lived on St. Paul Street.
All right. So you're right around the corner from Benjamin Gray.
Yes, right. And Baker School.
Yeah.
And Baker.
Mm-hmm.
So Tommy, let me ask, when did you first start recording? What was your first recording that you did?
My first recording was I'm Hurt. I think I was
That
14.
was a major hit in Richmond area.
Yes, it was. I wrote it, arranged it, and produced it along with August Moon.
Okay.
Right.
He was Mr. Wiggles back then.
Right, right.
Soul International Records.
Soul International. Sound of the South.
Right.
I remember.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember you were performing that at the Ebony Hour. I was doing sound, and that's when I met August Moon or Mr. Wiggles or Diggy Diamond, whichever one it was at the time.
Yeah, you know. You know.
Hey, Charles, let me ask you a question. Are you sure it was Ebony Island, not the Sahara Club?
It might have been Sahara Club.
I think it would have been the Sahara Club.
Because it might have been Cozy Cat at that time, to tell you the truth. It was Sahara initially, and then later it became Cozy Cat when Joe Carter took it over.
So, Lil Tommy, let's go back to Major and you and all y'all singing together. And what happened after Lil Tommy and the Teenagers?
I put another group together called, what was it, Lil Tommy and the Outer Sights.
Oh, the Outer Sights. Okay.
And it was 3 of us. Mm-hmm.
So let's put it this way. So what I'm hearing is you first started off as a singer and performer, and then you started picking up being a musician.
That's right.
Well, exactly. When did you start playing the drums live?
In the late 60s, early 70s.
So you just picked it up automatically?
Used to watch J.C. Coleman play, and after him giving me little tips. And the other brother, Dice Head, y'all remember Dice Head? Robert Sterling Price.
Okay, Robert Price, right.
He used to play for Stacey Henry years ago.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah,
so just by watching that and watching them perform, you picked it up automatically? Yes. That's gifted, my brother. Because when I first saw you sitting down behind drums, you were not a beginner. and that was in the late 60s. That was about 69 when I first saw you playing drums.
So Lil Tommy, what was the first band that you played with?
That I played drums in? The Brother Love.
Carlton Robinson.
Mm-hmm. Clement Burnett.
Yeah, Clement, yeah. That would have been in 70. That would have been in 70 and 71.
Somewhere around there.
Right. Okay. And Carlton Hills was playing with him as well. Alan and Carlton Hills, yeah.
Yes, he was.
Right. You're tying some things in together for us, Tommy.
After the big record, the big record, I'm Hurt. I mean, do you still perform that from time to time?
I haven't performed that song in many years.
I know that the reaction of that song in Richmond was so overwhelming.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah,
I couldn't believe it myself.
It was just it was just a masterful song. Tom Mitchell,
Tiger Tom.
Yeah, Tiger Tom. He was the man that was pushing it more than anybody else on WANT.
That's right.
And Ben Miles came later. Ben was a little younger.
And Alan Leeds, y'all remember Alan Leeds?
Right, Alan Leeds.
Yeah, he used to push me a little bit.
You recall all the promoters of that time: Jimmy Winston,
John
Lawyer,
Frank Ware.
Yeah.
Who was some of the other?
Alan Knight.
Alan Knight, right? Alan Knight.
Yeah.
And Jose was just a beginner. He was a very young guy at the time. All those guys were the seasoned pros.
Right, and Jose Fox came in.
Yeah, he came in later. Yes, much later.
Yep.
Yes, indeed. Let me ask you. Did you ever get a chance to work with Lil Walter?
I don't remember doing shows with Lil Walter backing us up. He had the Bonnevilles with him.
Right.
And
what about with Ray Smith? Did you work with Ray at all during that time? Because y'all came up around the same time.
No, they were the bigger guys, the older guys than we were.
Okay, the Jarmels were kind of big timey.
Yeah, they were. I mean, they weren't attitude-ish, but they were our stars at that time.
Right.
Yes. Yeah, at that time, they were in the late 60s. The quartets were the big thing.
Yes,
Trio of quartets performers. Stacey Henry was backing up most of them. And then the full self-contained bands didn't come around until my group, Eugene Brother Love, all that came in around the 70s.
Right.
So all prior to the 70s were just the quartets for the most part. Is that right, Tommy?
Right. Yeah, you're right.
So Tommy, when you were with Brother Love, you sang and played drums?
Yes.
All right. Boy, y'all had to be tough with you, Carlton, and Clement.
Right, we were tough.
Yeah, y'all had to be tough.
Cause they're still tough.
And then Charles came in with them young cats, him and Dwight and David.
Yeah.
Yeah, and all them young cats came in and they put that group together, Ujima.
Yeah.
Now then you went on and had Lil Tommy. That's when you had your record out, right? After you were with Brother Love?
No, I don't think. I think you already had the Hurt out prior to that.
Okay.
Yeah,
but you were doing something in the early 70s after Brother Love.
Is that the Whole Darn Family or something?
The Whole Darn Family.
Yeah, the Whole Darn Family is what it was.
Okay. So that the 6 minutes of funk.
7 minutes.
7 minutes. I'm trying to cheat. Look, I'm trying to cheat you out of a minute. That's
too many people
money.
try to sample that minute.
That's money.
And take that minute away from him before. Is that right?
Try to make it 6 minutes instead of 7 minutes, because you get paid more for 7 minutes of funk than 6 minutes.
I'll roll with that.
Yeah.
So did you write that? Were you were playing drums and on what was your role on that song?
I wrote the bass. I played the drums. And I did the arrangement.
Okay.
7 minutes of funk for the horns and everything else.
Historic. That's a historic sampled song. Do you know how many people have sampled it? Or can you name some of the bigger groups that sampled it?
Jay-Z, Foxy Brown.
Right.
Jodeci, Mr. Delvin's remix. Wyclef Jean.
Okay.
So all that came in the 80s. That's when those DJs were sampling all the tracks.
Right.
In the 80s.
So don't let me get too personal. Did you get some money from the sampling stuff?
I got some money from it.
Yeah, I said it that way for a reason.
I'm glad you did because.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. We're not going to touch on that subject too much, but we know a whole lot of some money went somewhere.
Right.
Lil Tommy, are you still doing any music or anything? You still writing? You still playing? What are you doing?
Definitely still writing. Have a pretty extensive catalog.
The last time I was at your home, you played some tracks for me that you were working on. That would have been maybe almost 10 years ago now. But you were playing some tracks for me that were just some serious knockout tracks. I hope you did something with that stuff.
I'm trying. I'm still trying, man. I have my own publishing company, All Tom's Music.
Okay.
And
very good.
I've got
who are you affiliated with? BMI or ASCAP?
BMI.
Okay.
And I've got about 280 some tracks of music.
Did you publish? Have you licensed all of them yet?
They're published with my publishing company, All Tom's Music.
Well, you got to put them all on the MLC. Everything.
Okay.
And what I did is I pulled up my BMI and I used that information to put it on the MLC.
Okay.
Okay, so that's easy.
After the whole Don family, what group did you primarily play with prior to getting with the Jamels as the reunion group?
Well, we didn't have our own band. All the promoters had, guaranteed guys that knew most of all of the songs that everybody in the doo-wop area, they call it. They would always have a band, and we had a little sheet music, So they
So how much travel did the Jamels do after you got with them?
quite a bit. We did pretty good. We did the villages in Florida. We did the casinos in Connecticut.
Okay.
We did colleges in New York.
So Tommy, the last bunch of stuff that you recorded that featured you as an artist, that featured you as a solo artist, do you recall what that was?
I did a CD called Tyrone Thomas Now.
What songs were on that? Do you recall?
Sure. Rock That Thing.
And about what year was that done?
Around 2007, 6 or 7.
So that would have been around the time that I was in Richmond that I heard that material. A lot of that stuff lent itself to being good, strong instrumental material.
Yeah. I'm trying to see here now.
More of a smooth jazz flavor.
Yeah, I did all kinds of flavors,
Those places that we performed during those times, and Tommy would remember that one off of Chamberlain Avenue, Market Street, Market Inn or something, I think it was called.
Oh, Market Inn, yeah.
Market Inn, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So Tommy, before you go, who was it like in the 60s when you were coming up? You named one group, the Bonnevilles, Stacey Henry, because I know Alvin played with them for a while, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he did.
They're actually brother-in-laws.
Right.
Right, Stacey, right. So Sterling Harris.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But who else as far as, go ahead.
Ned Valentine.
Okay.
Yeah, Ned Valentine, yeah.
Tommy Jackson.
Yeah, Tommy with Lou Kelsaw.
Lou Calsaw.
Yeah. But the Mike Harris group.
Yeah, Mike Harris group. Sterling Harrison.
Right. And then Mike Harris.
Sterling Harrison also had a brother named Al that was a good performer as well.
Yeah, Al.
Yeah, he was a very good performer. But a lot of those guys have moved and passed on. Any number, so many. Tommy, do you remember or were you around when the guy did the song? I always thought it was the Four Tops doing the song. When the guy was out of Henrico, I can't think of his name.
Tommy Edwards.
Edwards, Tommy Edwards.
All in the game called Love.
Game called Love, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you do know this, Tommy, Lil Tommy, that was the first #1 hit record for a black artist on the Billboard chart. And Tommy Edwards was out of Henrico, went to Virginia Randolph. Basically, we say he's from Richmond. Tommy Edwards had the first #1 hit for a black artist on the Billboard charts.
That's beautiful.
That is beautiful. We never asked you, did you know Lil Joe?
Lil Joe Jefferson, yes, sir.
Yeah.
See, of course you knew Major.
Yeah.
You grew up with Major, so you had to know Lil Joe.
But he knew Bill Spradley as well.
Yeah.
And the Harpers. You know the Harper brothers?
Yeah. Ron Harper.
Yeah.
They were the Impacts.
Oh, that's right.
Yes.
They had Major. I think they had Tom Eldridge. Then they had Spradley.
That's right. Tommy Eldridge. That's right.
And Ron Harper.
Right.
And Lil Joe.
And Lil Joe, the Impacts.
And then they changed to Nat Turner's Rebellion.
Nat Turner's Rebellion. That's right.
Now, Lil Joe was a hell of a drummer as well.
He was that.
Because this same thing that Charles and I are doing, I have a big interest in tying in the history of the music industry in this area. So I asked Lil Joe, because a lot of us ended up working out of Philadelphia. Charles Mann's worked out of Philadelphia. My group, all of our Love Injection stuff, Evelyn Champagne King, all that was out of Philadelphia. Bill Spradley with Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes, all out of Philadelphia. Robert Cunningham, when he did the Robin Michaels album, it was all out of Philadelphia, up at Alpha.
Major with the Delphonics, all that came out of Philadelphia.
Ron Holt did some stuff out of Philadelphia. So I asked Lil Joe, I said, Lil Joe, how did all of us get to Philadelphia from Richmond? Because I know that Red Forbes had worked for Philly International too.
Right, he did.
I still say, how did all of us get to Philadelphia? He told me this story, and I'm gonna share it with you real quick. He said he had either right before he went in the army or right around the time he was in the army, but before the singing groups or at whatever it was, he was at the Sahara Club. The Manhattans and the Delphonics were there. Whitney Houston's daddy, was it John? What's that band name?
John Houston.
John Houston.
Yeah.
Was managing the Delphonics at the time.
Okay. Oh, okay.
He said, and maybe even the Manhattans. He said the drummer from the Manhattans got sick and couldn't do the gig, and Jose saw Lil Joe in the audience. And Lil Joe said they called him to the stand and asked him would he be willing to play drums behind the Manhattans.
Yeah.
He did the whole gig, didn't miss a beat, knew all that music, knew all the stuff. John Houston offered him a job right there at the time. He said he turned it down. He did 2 years in the army. When he came back and they did the Impact's Nat Turner's Rebellion, and things started acting crazy with Nat Turner's Rebellion.
Yeah.
He took John Houston up on the offer of coming up to Philly and working with the Manhattans and eventually Delphi. And then I said, but look at the way the thing happened. Then Bill Spradley ended up going up there working with Harold Melvin Blue Notes. Ron Harper and Major ended up going up there working with the Delphonics. Ujima or Anglo-Saxon Brown did their album up there. Trussell did our album up there. Crazy story, man. And it all happened because Jose saw Lil Joe in the house and called him up there to play drum. Then I tied in something else. Charles, John Houston was married to Sister Houston. And Geraldine Morris and Carlton Robinson ended up playing with the Sweet Inspiration.
Sweet Inspiration. For a minute.
With Sister, you played with them too?
I played with the Sweet for a minute. Carlton came and got me and carried me.
Okay. See, that's what I'm talking about. So that's Sister Houston out there on the road, same old tie-in stuff.
Sweet Inspiration.
Yep, the Sweets.
That's right.
You have really tied up a lot of the holes, and that's what Charles and I were trying to do. Is we're trying to call the names of those people who we don't want the world to forget.
Right.
Because one day all of us going away from here.
That's right. For sure.
But if nobody remembers your name, or if nobody remember to tie you into that record or this record, or that's why we're making a big deal out of 7 minutes of funk.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Because we want people to know that this guy right here on this screen right here, boy, that Jay-Z and all them other people was loving what he did.
Yeah.
Right. The music extends to branches way beyond Richmond.
Yeah.
And any number of musicians successful in their own right have come from this community. Any number of them.
That's right.
And we're going to just try to name a few if we can.
All
Tommy,
right.
I appreciate you being here, being available for this, being willing to participate. It's an honor to know you and to have known you over these years. I've always admired your skills. You're an extremely talented, gifted man, my brother.
Hey, Tommy, when I called you a legend, I won't joke it.
I hear you, man.
I won't joke it, man. In Richmond, when they talk about cats who was bringing it, that name Lil Tommy comes up, boy.
Okay.
I am hoping that after Easter in the spring, I can get back to Richmond and maybe pull one day to get all the guys that were up and around during that time. We just come to one spot and shake hands and take one big old photograph together.
I'm looking forward to it.
You know, if we can just get together one day and just say, how you doing? That's good enough for me.
Sound great. Bill,
So Tommy, again, let me thank you for being here, and we look forward to seeing you and stay in good health, my brother.
Thanks, Charles. Thank you, Bill.
Thanks, Tommy, for lending us your face and your talent. And we truly appreciate you. And you are truly a part of the Richmond music scene, the history of the Richmond music scene. You are truly a part of that history.
You have made a difference in the life of a lot of folks, my brother.
Thank you. Thank you both.
Have a good day. Have a good
God
evening.
bless.
Thank you very much.
God bless you both, man.
All right, you too.